Yeah, good morning, YouTube. It is I, Zod. Anyways, welcome to Zod's Vendetta TV. I decided to put this particular video on my podcast channel just due to the fact that I haven't really been uploading, and I have episodes that I really want to put out, but due to certain standards that have been set by YouTube, I really don't want to get my channel snatched down, but I really need to get the information out. And this video will be no less, I won't say informative, but you know, when it comes to Zod, I shoot it from the hip, so it's a lot of it is unscripted. So, you know, bear with me and kind of pull the information you need to out of it, even if you had to rewind the video a few times, which is unfortunate, but like I said, the brain works in a certain way. But for the people that have been paying attention to my channel since day one, salute to you, and hopefully you continue to follow. For the people that are new to the channel, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for all future video notifications, and let's delve into it. Now, a lot of people that have been paying attention to social media, the ones that like to stay informed on not only current events but events in general. Some people like to pay attention to politics. Some are following the whole cryptocurrency route and really focus more on investments. Well, this will delve into that slightly, if only to inform you of things that have been taking place under certain people's watch. Now, when it comes down to it, my channel has always been somewhat controversial just due to its nature and things that come out of my mouth. But this one, I felt that I really needed to talk about because a lot of people are going to be affected by this. Now, for the people that don't really know, there's been three crypto giants that have failed to whatever circumstances, you know, they fail to, you know, basically they are no longer living or amongst the living. And a lot of people are saying due to nefarious reasons. Some people say that it wasn't an accident why these particular individuals passed away, but I'm unable to confirm that just due to the nature of their death. Now, when we get down to it, people, you know, pass all the time. So there's no real rhyme or reason to a lot of things that take place in this world. But if you really look at it, you had that crypto giant that came out of nowhere. Nobody really knew nothing about him, but all of a sudden he was like the hottest thing on the scene and he had everything on lock. Then he falls and swindles multiple people out of their hard-earned money and their currency, and he disappears. When he's gonna be indicted or whatever, he reappears because he has no choice. They sought him out and put him in handcuffs. Now, a lot of people are wondering where it went to. He's saying he didn't know there was like a major you know, hack, and so people lost all their money. Well, for one, he came out of nowhere. Nobody really knew nothing about him, and a lot of people figured that he was a plan used to further an agenda, which is now starting to unfold. And I know a lot of people don't like conspiracies, but when you think of it, at one time, cryptocurrency could not be taxed. It was outside of the law, and the government has always been trying to figure ways in order to be able to put their hands on it. It's just like the powers that be, you know, revolve in the shadows. Don't never even know who really, you know, you have people say the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller. You got all these people, they put these names out here, and for the most part it's true who really runs the world. But there's a lot of families that have to assume that are in the shadows that you've probably never heard of, and the only reason you really heard their name is mentionings be announced to others, and some that you probably will never know because they've always been in the shadows, the ones that control the controllers. Now, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I just put that out there and just let you know to pay attention to what's going on. Now, you had, I'll go back to what I was saying. Now, you had these three crypto giants that are no longer amongst the living. Suspicious deaths. I can't really prove that. All I can do is report to you and say what I see as a pattern. Now, I wanted to get into like little biblical things, but I'll just make references that simply drive the point home. But you had the three that fell. We'll just say they died or passed by natural causes. They're no longer amongst the living. And then you have the new guy, and that's the guy that in San Francisco that got stabbed outside of his place of residence. Now, for other people that have really been paying attention or may have delved deeper into the story, I'm hearing that that particular building that he resided in, everybody was like-minded and pretty much in the same, around the same area of, I won't say expertise, but their business dealings they all revolved. Maybe all of them had money. I'm unsure. There's a lot of things I still need to run in order to really get the full picture of it. But the whole thing was, it was shady. And the reason I'm going to say it's shady is because right after his death, which I think it's already been in the works, but it's funny, the feds launch a currency thing along the same lines as Cash App. And for the people that don't know about Cash Apps, you could actually buy Bitcoin on there, but the only thing is I don't think you could trade it to anybody else, or you would have to sell to them. You couldn't sell it to nobody else. So a lot of people were like put off by that, but they were into the whole Bitcoin and cryptocurrency thing. So it's funny that as soon as this guy falls and people are like, oh, it was just a random stabbing, all of a sudden the feds come with their own version of Cash App and currency. And the whole thing, like what I wanted to get into as far as like when I said like the biblical side of it, because if you've delved into the Bible, that at some point we're supposed to all be marked with the mark of the beast, and this is how they control it, and the Antichrist and all this other stuff that's supposedly supposed to take place. And for the people that believe in it, know that when you look around, you see certain signs. Now you start to put all this stuff together, and the whole, is it really gonna play out the way the Bible said? And it's one of those things, like I said, if you're devout, or you just really into like the scriptures, then you're seeing all the patterns unfold before your eyes. And I'm not going to get on here and talk religion. I'm just going to say that a lot of things that are taking place are pointing towards that. If you remember, no shot at the Catholics, but they did have something along the lines, not even along the lines, but they had stated it straight out that if you were Catholic, you would have to live within a certain city, not the Vatican, smaller scale, and they would actually take care of everything and anything that you needed as far as funds and everything. You would have like some little scan code on your skin, and they would distribute what you needed. But if you were Catholic, you chose not to live inside the city and abide by their rules, that you would no longer be considered a Catholic, and you would have to live outside of the city and fend for yourself, which is eerily similar to Revelations. When you get to the end, they say that everybody dies, but if you really read, and I haven't seen in all Revelations, but they used to have a lot of books in jail, and you were reading, you get to the end, and they said that the only people that would be left outside of paradise after everything had taken place and all the suffering had transpired and just everything, all wrath, and the four horsemen and all that, everything, after everything had taken place, the only ones that would be left alive outside the city to fend for themselves outside of paradise would be like the witches and the warlocks and like unsound individuals and things of that nature. So there was still be people alive. It's kind of like when you read if you've seen the movie The Book of Eli, when you had Denzel Washington and basically giving you an idea of what was to come after everything had fell out, and what wars were started over religion and things of that nature. And the fact that one guy, spoiler, was basically trying to get this book because he knew with this book he could control the masses because it had been done before. Well, my allergies seem to be all over the place, so I won't be able to make this video as long as I wanted to, which, to be honest, sometimes when I do make videos too long, I tend to drone on when I don't have nobody right there to bounce things back and forth, especially seeing that this channel is made basically for a podcast, if not basically, but for a podcast, which hence the name Zah Vendetta. But when you look at all this that's starting to take place, even with the feds taking over the whole Cash App thing or something in resemblance to that, they want to make currency that can be tracked. And I know a lot of people are going to get on here and they're going to be like, oh, well, it's because of the drugs and things of that nature. But if you have somebody controlling your money and just say that somehow you don't want to go along with the plans or go along with what they need you to do, they can simply hit a button and shut down everything. So you can go to the bank, like that thing that just took place with people that lost all their money in that one banking thing. And then, the government said if you had, they they would pay certain people up to this much. So it was only like a micro dot or a small portion of what you made. So if you made something like 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 100 million, you're telling me that you're only going to get a certain amount of thousands back just because you know, they don't want to collapse certain things. And that just goes to show you. So if you have the federal government being able to shut down your funds whenever they want, it's like kind of like, ooh, it can be one of those situations to where, you know, for the most part, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to go along with it because they have no choice. They're the followers. They've never been leaders. They've never been ones to really stand against the status quo. So they're expected to follow suit regardless. And even if they weren't expected, they're gonna follow suit. You got people that are always trying to be overachievers, and they figure, you know, let me be the good little puppet, and you know, everything will go perfect for me. And those are the ones that really end up losing their land, losing their life, and losing other things along the process. Just like with the whole birth certificate thing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole, but you know, when people get married and sign away certain things and birth certificates and things of that nature, and basically putting their kids in I won't say in the realm, but they put them as far as like cattle, basically. You know, you signing these papers, basically you're cattle. Your kids are cattle, and their kids will be cattle because they sign away certain rights when they do things of that nature. That's why not too many people are in a rush to get married. Yeah. Because, you know, basically by signing these certain contracts, you're basically giving them the right to your kids. That's why, you know, kids are so easily pulled out. You'll have these kids that are getting abused and all types of stuff, and they refuse to remove them from the property. But then you'll have another couple that's a minor infraction. Yeah, but I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. It's just one of those things that it's like you just got to pension. I have so much information, but it's to formulate the thought. Sometimes it's just all over the place, and especially with my allergies, constantly giving me issue. I'm unable to really focus a lot. But yeah, just think about that, the whole cryptocurrency and the fact that these dudes are passing away, and that the one that came out of nowhere fell, which gave the government basically the right to intervene to make sure that it never happens again. But yet, up under their watch, a bank literally steals everybody's money, and somehow it just disappears, and nobody really know how it disappeared. Everything has been set in motion, and a lot of things that are taking place for a reason. And whether you believe biblical scriptures or just believe in just life in general, a lot of stuff are unfolding. It's like I said, if you believe in the Bible, it said that the world would not end this time through flood or anything else. It would end by fire, which fire could be in resemblance to nuclear fallout, nuclear weapons. It could be the fact that Yosemite is a walking time bomb. I mean, not even walking, just a sitting time bomb. And every 100 years it explodes and decimates everything. And it's a lot of things are going to be taking place. So a lot of people that are ill prepared should be prepared. You should be prepared for absolutely everything. Like, I'm constantly planning, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not even to be an extreme conspiracist or somebody that just lives on the edge of fear constantly. I don't. I live my life according to the way I want to live it. I work, take care of my kids, I handle my business. Any threat to my family is immediately addressed. But be paying attention. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video because my allergies all over the place. But if you like what you hear, man, subscribe. And I got a lot more to talk about.